What's up, my Ninja Warriors? This is Greninja Warrior here, and I'm going to be bringing you my first round of the Sword Shield NU opening tour. So, my opponent is Luck of the Irish, and as you can see, this is before Pokebank came out, or whatever it's... No, I mean, what's it called? Pokemon Home? Yeah, this... Round 1 is pre-home, because Pokemon Home came out, like, I think in the middle of round 1. And I had this match a few days ago. You know, I wanted to record it, and now that I have free time, I might as well. So I'm going to bring a team that has Savali Electric, Defog Mantine, Standard Rhydon, got the Toxicroak as well. I believe it's Nasty Plot, which is going to come into play later, as you'll see. And I also have these Fidef Ferroseed and the Scarf Rotom. So looking at this matchup, I mean, Flareon can definitely be annoying because I don't really have that much to deal with it, you know. It kind of walls Rotom Fan unless I trick it, you know, beats Ferroseed, etc. And it also, with the heavy duty boots, it can also avoid taking hazard damage because I am running Stealth Rock Rhydon plus the Spike Ferroseed. And honestly, there aren't too many other Pokemon that are that threatening to me at all. And because this is pre-home, I do not have Defog on my Mantine, since it was only released after the home. And yeah. Also, I do have Trick on Rotom, which is going to definitely come into play as well, as you guys see. So here, I honestly don't remember what I lead off with. I think I lead off with what, like Silvally? I forget, let's see. Yeah, I lead off with Silvally. I apologize for the music. I'm going to turn this off. My bad. Oh yeah, so I lead Mantine and he leads Piloswine. Now this is great because I can throw off a Scald. It's pretty risk-free. If he goes Appletun, I can burn that thing to wear it down. If he stays in with Piloswine, he's just giving me chip for the Savali Electric later on. And Savali Electric has so much potential versus him as well. So I kind of do want this damage, although I don't really expect him to give me this damage in the first place. As he's going to switch into Kling Kling, obviously wanting to keep Piloswine healthy. Go for the Scald, do not burn him, which is a little annoying. Now here, I believe I fear the Wild Charge because they occasionally run like, you know, like Shift Gear, Wild Charge. I don't want to instantly get knocked out, so I go Savali Electric. Because with my pure electric typing, I'll be able to basically wall him. Because at this point, Kling Kling does not even have access to return. Like, the best move it has to hit electric types with is pretty much just Facade. And even then, most of them don't even run Facade. So I know this is not really that risky as well. As he goes Appletun, now I don't think he knows that I have Ice Beam. So I can probably catch him off guard here by getting a bunch of damage off on him without knowing. At the same time, he might know that I'm Ice Beam and just go Piloswine. So I think I just Parting Shot, or do I Ice Beam? Parting Shot, right? Yeah, I just Parting Shot, knowing he'll fear the Ice Beam. Since it's kind of obvious that I'm going to have it. I got Parting Shot and a Mantine, get the momentum. I'm just going to go for Scald, just go for a Burn real quick. I do actually get the Burn, which is really nice, because I believe I have Air Slash in this Mantine. And it will just put Appletun closer in the range of that Air Slash as well. I believe I just go for it right here, because I have no reason not to. He doesn't fear me out or anything. As he goes Kling Kling on the Air Slash, yeah. So good play on his part. I'm going to put on normal speed. I think normal speed is fine. As he goes Piloswine on the Scald. At this point, I don't expect him to Wild Charge because I already went Savali Electric last time. And the Savali Electric is far too obvious to where he's probably going to double and try to get momentum. So I try to punish him there to go right for the Scald. As I get a good amount of chip off. That chip is going to be really nice for Savali Electric potentially and my Rotom Fan. So yeah, no burn there though, as I believe I just Scald again. Yeah, get up to nice chip on Appletun. I believe I just Air Slash as well. No reason not. Or I go Ferroseed. My bad. I go Ferroseed because I think I want to start spiking up. Because I want to start chipping away at Piloswine and the Garbodor and the Kling Kling with the Spikes pressure. And because this is pre-home, I know that Savali cannot be Defog, which means that he's gonna have no way of getting rid of hazards. And I think I just wanted to start applying pressure as soon as I possibly could. Also knowing that there's not really much that Appletun can do to Ferroseed, because even if it's body press, he's burned, so it really shouldn't be doing much damage at all. I start going for Spikes here, I believe, as he goes Garbodor. Yeah, applying that pressure. As I'm just going to stay in, because the only thing he can really do to me is Drain Punch, and I don't really care. I'd rather just get up on my spikes as soon as possible. And then go Rhydon, try to get up rocks. And then with the 3 layers of spikes plus rocks, apply a lot of pressure on his team. As Yashir reveals to be heavy duty boots Appleton, which is a little bit annoying. I'm just going to go Rotom. Leech Seeds me. A bit annoying as well. And here, I believe I Air Slash, because I don't want to trick just yet. I feel like it's too obvious. Or no, I do trick. Do I? Yeah. I believe I end up tricking here, actually. Because basically my plan is to actually trick the Flareon with my Rotom. So that way his Flareon can no longer take hazard damage from the... Oh, no. So that Flareon can start taking hazard damage since it will no longer have the heavy-duty boots. Now, this is really important because it chips away... It forces Flareon to take rocks plus spikes, which will force Flareon to be at 50% the next time it comes in. And this is crucial because it gives Nasty Plot Toxicroak a way to win, I believe. And the Silvally Electric as well. Yeah. Oh no, I Volt Switch, my bad, sorry. It's been a while since I played this game. I probably should have looked over the replay before recording it. But either way, I ended up Volt Switching here. Because I think in my mind it was a little too early to trick. Because I wasn't completely sure about how he would actually end up playing this game. So I wanted to play it safe for now. I just Volt Switch here, knowing he'll go Flareon, go into Mantine, try to wear him down. But as you can see, this Flareon is a problem. Because even with my Mantine, like, I can barely even chip at this Mon. Like, I'm a water flying type versus a fire type, and I can barely do anything 1v1. That's pretty sad. Like, there's really not much I can do to this. And he can basically spam Flare Blitz and just go for burns as well. I think I try to flinch him here because I'm kind of desperate at this point. Knowing that there's not really much I can do to this Flareon, as it's basically not going to die to anything. Yeah, because if I go Rhydon, I'm just going to take spike damage, and then he's going to switch out into like his Appleton, for example. And then I won't be able to punish his Flareon because he doesn't even have to let me take a hit versus that Rhydon, which is why I need to trick this Mon later on if I want to win at all. I go for Haze here, trying to PP stall him. You know, Air Slash, Wish, Kling Kling. I actually Scald here. I half expected him to try to Wish the Kling Kling. Also, I hazed last time, so I thought he wouldn't do that. Now, later on, I believe in the battle chat, he tells me that he actually thought that his Kling Kling was at 50% or 50% after hazards. So he thought that his Kling Kling could come in 100% no matter what on the Wish. So that's a little unfortunate for him, thinking that his Kling Kling can come in, but it really can't. As you can see there, he thought that he could come in on hazards, but it really can't. As he goes Flareon, I just try to pressure this thing with the Scald and Air Slash a little bit more. But as you can see, this Flareon is really annoying. I want to get rid of it. I don't want to have to PP stall this thing forever, especially because of how much Flare Blitz is doing to me. And considering the fact that my roosts are obviously limited as well. As he Flare Blitzes again, forcing me to roost. Yeah, Flare Blitz Haze, as he eventually burns me as well. And this is where I knew that things would get really, 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 really annoying. Yeah, I knew that it would either take 200 turns to beat Flareon in like a huge stall fest, or I could actually try to cripple it as well. I go Ferroseed for now, just so I can wall this thing pretty much. Appalachian does it, I go for Leech Seed, and then I just start Gyro Balling him. As you can see, that Gyro Ball does very minimal damage, so I'm not really able to punish him much there. And basically, all that comes out of this exchange is basically my Ferroseed getting beat down, pretty much. As he goes for Draco Meteor. Now, I did not expect this at all. I thought it would be like maybe like Body Press or something as the last move. I go Rotom Fan. Pretty confident that he's not going to Leech Seed. And here, I know that he doesn't want to let his Appleton get Air Slash because he definitely needs this Pokemon in general, just for my Rhydon as well. Because if he loses this thing, then Rhydon could potentially win the game. And I know that his best Air Slash switch-in is probably going to be that Flareon. And based on the fact that I Volt Switched his Flareon last time, he probably feels confident that his Flareon has nothing to fear from my Rotom. Except for the fact that I have Trick. So yeah, I'm able to get rid of his heavy duty boots here. Absolutely amazing. I'm able to just Volt Switch here, And at this point, I know that the game is going to be a lot easier to win because his Flareon is no longer able to spam Wish Protect, basically neutering the usefulness of this Flareon, which is so good because I no longer have to deal with Flareon. Flareon is basically dead after hazards, and now he has to basically deal with a dead Flareon at this point because it dies to 3 layers of Spikes plus Rocks now, since it is under 50%. I go for Air Slash. I get a flinch, which is a little bit annoying. He probably went for Lead Seed there. I mean, either way, I probably could have beat this with Toxicroak. And I still could have spammed Air Slash. Like, he would have been under pressure either way. But that flinch just speeds things up. And definitely makes the win a lot easier. As I'm able to knock him out with the next Air Slash. Goes Garbodor. I mean, I have no reason to stay in, I don't think. I just go Pharaoh Seed. At this point, Pharaoh Seed is basically death fodder. As he goes with the Toxic Spike, knocks me out with Stomping Tantrum. I get a little bit of Iron Barbs damage as well, which is nice. As I'm just going to T-Bolt at this point, he goes for Gunk Shot. I mean, because I got rid of Flareon and Kling is dead, as well as Appleton, I basically do not value my Rotom Fan as much. Like, I know that keeping it alive in general can be nice, but now that I no longer have my Choice Scarf and now that Appleton is no longer alive, I really don't need Rotom healthy for any particular reason. So I know that I can afford to just let it take damage here. I go for T-Bolt. I mean, Garbodor is basically dead to hazards, so he has no reason to keep it at this point. He goes Piloswine, which should die to Air Slash, as he just goes for Ice Shard, knowing that he has to do that in order to not die, as I was able to knock him out with a Scald. And at this point, it's pretty much over. Flareon's dead to hazards. Piloswine had to stay in there because it was basically screwed either way. And at this point, my opponent's only way to win is to pull off some type of Hail Mary situation with the Savali, which is kind of unlikely, for sure. As he goes Savali Fairy, I just go for Scald here because all I really need to do at this point is just weaken his Savali. Or no, I Haze. Because at this point, I know that my Rhydon can knock out the Savali with Earthquake most likely, and if not, I can just knock out the Savali with my Vacuum Wave from Toxicroak. So basically, all I have to do at this point is indefinitely Haze, so that way the Savali can never get up a Swords Dance, and that's exactly what I do. So if anything, that Flare Blitz burn seems like it might have been unfortunate from Flareon, but if anything, it actually helps me out, because it means that my Flareon is eventually going to die to burn, which is actually going to guarantee my win here, because all I have to do is indefinitely Haze, so that way his Savali has to be neutral when I lose my Mantine, and then I can just go Rhydon an Earthquake, pretty much. As I just spam Haze, he spams Swords Dance, I spam Haze so he can never get the setup. As he goes for Flame Charge to knock out my Mantine, and then goes for Swords Dance at this point, because my opponent realizes that he has to go for the Hail Mary. He has to get up the speed so he can guaranteed outspeed my Savali. And he has to somehow have my Rhydon misclick or like somehow not die to Earthquake. As I'm able to knock him out. And that's the game because Flareon is dead to hazards. So that is going to be game 1. And so on to game 2. My opponent ended up bringing a... Let me switch screens real quick. Let's go with that. Okay, so my opponent brought a very interesting team. He brought the Vikavolt, which is definitely a threat in this tier for sure. Because that thing can run Sticky Web, it can run Choice Spec, Sticky Web, Heavy Duty Boots, Agility. There's quite a few things that Vikavolt can do. It's also one of the best offensive threats in the tier, so I definitely have to watch out for Vikavolt for sure. I do have the Spadef Pharaoh Seed, but it just means that I might have to be careful with my Pharaoh Seed later on. Also, I have the Double, which honestly doesn't have that great of a matchup. Like, he has Mantine that could potentially have Haze. He has the Cofagrigus, and he has the Haunter. So definitely not a favorable matchup for the Double whatsoever, which is a little bit unfortunate. Something else to note is the fact that he does not have a Flying Resist, which could come into play later as well with the Unpheasant. Also, after game 2, I realized that this guy was probably obsessed with Piloswine. Like, if I fight this guy in the future, it's just something to keep in mind as well. So yeah, overall, I think the matchup is pretty neutral, but I think it depends on how careful Luck of the Irish plays compared to how I play as well. And Nasty Plot Toxicroak is also a potential win con as well, depending on how things go, and if I can somehow get rid of the Vikavolt as well. So let me just jump right into it. He leads off a Pharaoh Seed. I lead on Pheasant. Just because he has no flying resist, I wanted to just maybe scare something out with Brave Bird, go for U-turn. In hindsight, I probably could have let off with Toxicroak as well. But it's fine. I just go for U-turn here, knowing that I can't really stay in on Pharaoh Seed. As I go into my own Pharaoh Seed here, as he goes for Leech Seed. Now here, I actually wanted to, I believe I wanted to spike up here. Or no, I wanted to just spike up here, so that way I can wear down the Cofagrigus and put it in range of +2 Shadow Ball from Toxicroak. As here, he reveals something that I did not expect at all. He goes for the knockoff. Now this is a huge turn, because without my Eviolite, I'm much more hard pressed versus the Vikavolt, which is really bad, because that thing, depending on its set, can be really detrimental to my chances of winning. So I'm going to have to play super careful around the Vikavolt later on. Like, that thing is going to be such a menace. We'll see how that goes. I'm just going to keep on spamming Spike at this point, because I don't really have another option, as my opponent is doing the exact same. Nothing I can do about that. I go right into Double Ult because I can no longer Spike anymore, and I want to keep the Pharaoh Seed, because even without the Eviolite, it can potentially check Vikavolt, as well as beating Mantine as well, probably. To go Double Ult, trying to get up the Cotton Guard here, I believe, so that way I can threaten those guys with Payback, etc. As he goes for Leech Seed, which is really annoying. Again, as I said before, Double Ult's matchup is pretty horrible. I switch out, he's not going to stay in. As he goes Vikavolt. Now, I think I actually expected him to go into either Haunter or Cofagrigus. I was not expecting Vikavolt. So that is the exact opposite of what I wanted to see there. As I believe I have to go Piloswine at this point, because I don't want to take a hit from this Mantine. Yeah. Because this mon is a really scary threat. As he goes for Bug Buzz, really nice play. If I actually stayed into Scald with Mantine, this could have actually been a much different endgame as well, because I could have gotten off Scald damage on Vikavolt, and then I just Nasty Plot up with Toxicroak and pretty much sweep his team if I can get rid of the Haunter, that is, because that mon is really annoying as well for that mon. Goes for Bug Buzz again, knocks out Piloswine. I don't really have a switch in, and I'm honestly not sure what type of Vikavolt this is. I'll go back into Mantine because I actually need Chip in the Speakable, and it's probably locked into Bug Buzz as well. Get up a Scald here, as it actually turns out to not be choiced, which leads me to believe that this is either Sticky Web Vikavolt or Agility Vikavolt. Either way, this is extremely bad, and at this point I was getting really down on myself, expecting it to just go to a game 3 and just trying to get this game out of the way, and not wanting to think about this horrendous defeat that I just took. I mean, the thing is, because at this point, it looks completely over, and it looks like I have no chance of winning. But I could definitely still win, especially if he chokes. So at this point, I have to go off of him choking at some point in the game. I go on Pheasant, go for the Brave Bird, I believe. Yeah, because he has no flying resist. I get a crit on Mantine, which is really good, because it means that I get a guaranteed kill with Brave Bird, which would not have happened if I crit him. So that's really big, because now on Pheasant is definitely a threat versus him, because Piloswine is forced to take it through there as spikes if he wants to come in. Same with Cofagrigus, as he goes right into the Haunter. So at this point, I know it's Scarf Haunter, because the fact that he brought it in versus Scarf and Pheasant, but I actually stay in, just in case it's not Scarf Haunter, and if it is Scarf, then I want to see what move he locks himself into, so that way I can play accordingly. As I end up losing on Pheasant. Now looking back at it, I probably should have sacked Double, considering how useless it is versus me. Like I think going hard Double instead of sacking on Pheasant turn 12 was definitely the play, because honestly I did not have much use for that mon at all. As I go Double here, as he goes Kofa, I believe I just Cotton Guard, yeah. However, I can't really win with this Mon because even if I end up resting up and beating this Cole Rodriguez 1v1, the thing is that he still has Vikavolt, he still has the full HP Haunter, which I can't really beat at all, especially if it's Trick on Scarf Haunter as well. That can be really bad as he goes for knockoff. At this point, I know that my double is basically useless. But I stay in either way, just hoping that for some crazy reason, my double can somehow win this game. He goes Haunter, as I go right for the payback, expecting him to go Haunter. So that was really good. As he goes for Trick. Now, honestly, if I were him, I would not have gone Haunter to Trick. I would have actually kept this Mon. Because of Nasty Plot Toxicroak, if my opponent kept the Haunter, he could have had a way to basically check my Toxicroak and he would have been able to Shadow Ball it as well after a little bit of chip. Because I believe that Ice Shard from Piloswine into Shadow Ball from Haunter probably would have knocked out Toxicroak. But I think in my opponent's mind, I'm still running Swords Dance Toxicroak instead. So my opponent is probably thinking that if he keeps Cole Rodriguez with Will-O-Wisp, then he has no chance of losing to Toxicroak. Which was definitely a mistake on his part, for sure. If my opponent had a bit of a different mindset, or if my opponent took special Toxicroak into play, I don't think he would have made these types of plays at all. As I go for payback again, yeah. Goes Vikavolt. As I go for payback here, trying to weaken this Vikavolt somehow. As he thunderbolts me, go for payback, get a little bit more chip. As I'm now gonna go into the Pharaoh Seed. So at this point, I get 2 killed by Bug Buzz, and Toxicroak probably takes too much from Thunderbolt to where I probably die because I lose to Vikavolt. So at this point, I assume that I lose the game unless I get really lucky. So I go for Leech Seed here, as it goes for Bug Buzz. As yeah, that does a lot of damage. So at this point, I'm pretty much panicking because I know that I'm probably going to lose to Vikavolt plus the Piloswine Ice Shard. But there is a chance, right? If I get a double protect, I might be able to actually Gyro Ball him and get enough chip on him to where after one round of Leech Seed plus Gyro Ball plus another round of Leech Seed, I might be able to knock out Vikavolt. And at that point, I can Focus Blast knock out Piloswine, Focus Blast knock out Pharaoh Seed. Assuming I hit both Focus Blasts and get the double protect, which is highly unlikely, so I'm really not expecting it to happen at this point. And I can obviously Shadow Ball the Copper Rodriguez as well. So I go for that. I go for Protect here as he Bug Buzzes. I'm hoping that this gives me enough health back to live the hit. However, the next Bug Buzz is going to knock me out, which will probably spell good game for me and force us into game 3. However, I go for the Protect, hoping for the double Protect, and I get it. And I'm like, oh, because at this point, I thought the game was over. But I end up getting off the double Protect, living the Bug Buzz on 2%, knocking out the Vikavolt with the Gyro Ball plus 2 rounds of Leech Seed. And all of a sudden, my chances to win have suddenly opened. Because he goes Cobra Rodriguez, and I still have the Shadow Ball and Toxicroak. He goes for Shadow Ball. As I'm going to go Toxicroak, go for the Shadow Ball. And all of a sudden, things are looking bright. Because all I have to do at this point is connect a few Focus Blasts. Now, do keep in mind the Focus Blast does have 70% accuracy, so I could very well miss here and lose the game. So I'm just praying that I hit, and I do hit on the Piloswine with the Focus Blast, which is so good. He goes Pharaoh Seed. I'm just praying I can hit, and I land the next one. So that was a really good game 2, and a pretty good game 1 as well. So yeah, good games to Luck of the Irish. I definitely don't think he played that badly. I think he just expected my Toxicroak to be physical and not special. Because I feel like otherwise you wouldn't have sacked Haunter, I feel. Because keeping Haunter as a backup check to special Toxicroak, I think would have 100% been the strategy. And it probably would have guaranteed my loss as well. So yeah, good games. Definitely a fun round 1. I might consider uploading my round 2 as well. And let me know if you want to see more Showdown lives in the future, or if you want to see more tournament replays as well. I'll definitely consider uploading my tournament games live as well. Alright, so I'll see you guys next time. Peace.